Extra. We bring an in-depth look on the severe drought we are experiencing across the state.
And it's that time of week again for Sideline. Check out who we have giving the forecast today a little later in the show.
Plus, it may not be cold here just yet, but we're checking out the scene in Montana after their first snow of the season.
WBRC Fox 6 News. First Alert Weather Extra starts now.
Well, thanks for staying with us for Weather Extra. Chief Meteorologist Wes Wyatt. We have Tania Michelle and another face here. In addition to meteorologist Lauren Linehan, JP in the house.
Good to be here today. As always, fabulous to be here and in good company.
Well, you were telling when you stopped by today that you had just flown in from Iowa. They were dealing with some significant rainfall. You couldn't bring any of that wet weather.
A lot of rain across the cold front coming in.
So you saw both sides.
I saw both sides, and yeah, a little chilly, a little breezy up there, a lot of rain. Of course, you know, you've been talking about next week, the big changes coming up around Halloween.
Hopefully we get some showers early next week. Let me show you, this is the front we're talking about here that's on the way. You can see there's rain now. It's made it all the way to Arkansas. Check that out, parts of Louisiana getting the wet weather, and it's been like this for a couple of days. I mean, it has been a steady flow of rain, and we just can't get a drop of it. But hey, if you're a fan of these cool, crisp evenings, we're going to have more comfortable conditions like this, at least for the next few nights. Some changes are coming, though, as we go into Halloween. But as we take a look at the overall setup, you can see again this front that's setting up shop to the west of us. It's moving at the moment, but it's going to stall out again, and it doesn't really start to move our way until we go into next week. But you can see it's the next big thing that we're looking at, and all that moisture wrapping in from the south and lifting north there. It's going to stay off to the west of us, but with that system just to the west and also high pressure east, you can see how the wind gradient has increased across the region. That's one of the reasons why it's been so breezy yesterday. Were you driving today, just notice leaves just flying all over the place. That breeze is going to come back again tomorrow, and also for this weekend, southeast wind at about 5 to 15 miles per hour. But when you have temperatures like this, it just makes it feel increasingly comfortable across the area. So we have enjoyed some very pleasant conditions, but very dry conditions out there. Next big thing, again, we've got the unseasonable warmth that's going to be with us through the weekend. A first alert there. Few showers on Monday, chilly conditions for trick-or-treating on Halloween, and the possibility that we could see some frost around here as we go into next Wednesday morning, next Thursday morning, especially a day that we're watching. We're certainly keeping a close eye on that long-range forecast. JP?
So Wes, you know, it certainly has taken a while before we have been looking at some of those cooler temperatures. Right now, much of the state is under a fire alert. That's because of extremely dry conditions. Take a look at the latest drought map that was just released this morning. This is the drought map. It certainly does not paint a good picture. It shows much of the state is ranging from moderate to extreme drought. The Forestry Commission says it's responded to more than 100 wildfires, and that's just in the last 7 days in different parts of the state. Tuscaloosa County is among the 32 northern counties where the Alabama Forestry Commission won't be issuing any burn permits. The Tuscaloosa Fire Department is especially keen on this because 8% of the annual fires are considered grass or field fires.
Right now, we are not issuing any burn permits in our jurisdiction, just to be on the safe side. However, there have been a few instances where we have allowed burning at some of our homecoming festivities with the bonfires, because we have adequate personnel and manpower and water on standby.
With the lack of rainfall we've had and the weather conditions, you know, with the wind being like it is, and even a small fire will turn very large very quickly.
And it certainly could get a lot worse, even with a few isolated showers possible closer to Halloween. It won't be enough to relieve the drought. It took a while to get to this position we're in right now, so it's going to take a while to get out. October is typically the driest month of the year in the state of Alabama. And here to give us a more in-depth look at the drought, meteorologist Matt Daniel and Mickey Ferguson.
We are talking about the drought monitor.
Drought monitor.
It's been released today, and of course we were telling you we're going to see the drought expanding across the state.
Yeah, it's been a while, Matt, since we've seen significant rainfall. As bad as it is here, it's even worse in Mississippi, Louisiana. But we're starting to get little pockets of severe drought in Alabama.
Yeah, so in orange is a severe drought, and that includes now Cherokee, Etowah counties, also into Jefferson and Tuscaloosa. In red, that is an extreme. That's a 4 out of 5 on the level. Exceptional is the worst. We're not seeing that yet in the state. You'll have to go to Mississippi, Louisiana to see that, but even just a little bit of abnormally dry conditions now in parts of east central Alabama. So it is intensifying, and unfortunately not seeing any signs of improvement over the next several days.
Really discouraging outdoor burning as well with this low amount of moisture out there. Now, typically in Birmingham, we have a little over 3¼ inches of rain, 3.5 for Tuscaloosa. But we are in the dry period, and we haven't hardly even seen even a ½ an inch so far this month.
That's right, and October is normally our driest month of the year. As you can see in this graphic, November, December, we start seeing wetter months as we get closer to winter. So we're hoping by the time we go to the middle and end of November, we'll see a wet pattern shape up. But this is from the Weather Prediction Center with NOAA showing potential rainfall over the next 7 days. And we got an area of high pressure just kind of blocking all the rain. So all the rain staying well out to the west.
And they've even seen flooding rains into Texas. Flash flooding was going on this morning, but that high pressure ridge just keeping it from moving in. Now we do have last week compared to this week, and you can just see those oranges creeping over a little bit more, and the reds you can see starting to develop into southwest Alabama and northeast Alabama.
Yeah, and we're thinking by the time we go into next week, we're going to see worse conditions across the state, and we'll be able to compare you last week to then. So we're going to be watching this over the next several days. I think by the time we actually see some rain, it's going to be weird to see, right?
Yeah, it will.
We haven't seen
kind of like rain in the studio right now.
Whoa.
Is that rain?
Whoa. Who opened up the roof? Well, I'm going to go into an area where it's not raining.
Slick back. I'm going to slick it back. Slick it back. Slick it back.
You know, a lot of people don't realize we actually have a convertible studio here on Red Mountain. And even though it may be drier than normal outside, that's not stopping the beautiful weather from sticking around this weekend. In 30 seconds, we'll be bringing you some delicious meal ideas for fall football. See you then.
Welcome back to First Alert Weather Extra. I'm First Alert meteorologist Tania Michelle, and as we continue to get into the thick of football season with the Magic City Classic this weekend, on today's Cooking Up a Storm, meteorologist Fred Hunter brings us a delectable, love that word, tailgating spread for you and your family to enjoy on an unseasonably warm day for fall football.
Welcome to Weather Extra here, and I've got one of my good friends that I've known for a little while now.
Several years.
Yeah, Kathleen Phillips, who is with gritsandgouda.com. And you know there's grits and you know there's cheese, so that's a very good start right there. But Kathleen, we're in the middle of football season, so we got blue and orange, we got blazer green and white.
I tried to cover it all.
Crimson and white here. So obviously we're going to talk a little bit about tailgating. Now let me tell you this, so you'll know what to listen for. The great thing about Kathleen is she'll take a dish that you are familiar with and she'll make it better.
Aww.
But she does it very simply so that anybody can do it. So Kathleen, tell us what you're doing for us.
Can I just
today.
write that down? That sounds like a great. Thank you, Fred.
Absolutely. So tell us what we got. I know you have a few philosophies. If you can add cheese and you can add bacon and you can add butter, you're on the right track. So we're on the right track.
That's
here,
right.
'cause I see the cheese and the bacon.
We have two out of three. We have bacon, cheese, and tater tots.
I do like tater tots.
So it is a 3-ingredient appetizer game day food, or I also like to say you've got hash browns, bacon, and cheese. These could be breakfast on the go.
Right.
So, all right, the first thing we're going to do is take a block of cheese, and I've taken off about 1/3 of it, and we're going to cut it this way, and then cut it. You're going to get 1-inch long pieces. So what you're going for is this right here. And I already have some made up, of course. So Now on the tater tots, you want to partially thaw.
Okay.
Because if you get a tater tot straight from the freezer, they're too hard to cut.
Yeah.
But if they're completely thawed, they fall apart.
They fall apart, right?
So just
Right.
partially thaw. And let's see, I'll grab this one right here. A tip, they cut easier with a serrated knife. So
Okay.
this is just one of my steak knives. So I'm prying it open, but not all the way to.
Right.
Going to take one of
Kind
those.
of like a hot dog bun.
It does look like hot dogs.
Kinda
You're
like a
right.
hot dog bun,
That's
yeah.
exactly, which is another way to look at it for game day food. So make up 24 or more of those. Then you're going to take a slice of bacon and cut it in half. Now I would avoid the thick cut bacon.
Okay.
Just because when you go for the finished products, it does cook up better. So you've got your half a piece of bacon. Start at one end and roll it up like this.
See, I told you it was simple.
And then would you grab that?
I can.
Yes, that pan right there with the
can.
rack. My bad.
Here we go.
Yep, definitely. Right here. So you want to line your baking pan with foil for cleanup. We were just talking about cleanup.
Believe me, I'm a great believer in aluminum foil.
When you line your foil, then when you're finished baking, you just take that off. So you're putting it on the rack so that the bacon drippings drip down. See this end?
Right.
You're going to bake that at 350 for 25 to 30 minutes until they look like this.
This is what you got.
That's right. And then
Whoa.
And then you can make as many as you want. Also, did you know that they make seasoned tater tots? So you can add more flavor without adding an ingredient.
Wow. Wow. And then that's just something you can do really quickly and have when your guests come over, or you can eat these as you go.
Yes, and make ahead. I actually made these up last night, baked them, and then when I got here, I put them in your oven to reheat. So you can absolutely make these ahead, freeze them now for Christmas.
Oh my, this is just great. Kathleen, thank you so much for giving us, will you come back and share some more recipes with us on Weather Extra?
Absolutely, Southern shortcut recipes.
All right, Southern Short. See there, I couldn't remember the name, but I knew the end result. And Kathleen, where can they find you? Grits and Gouda.
Gritsandgouda.com is my food blog where all my recipes live. Then I'm on Facebook, Pinterest, Instagram, and YouTube.
Okay, if you can't find Kathleen, it's your fault. And if you can't find anything else, try the tater tots. Good Day, Alabama, and of course, Weather Extra will continue.
And be sure to catch WBRC Saturday morning at the Magic City Classic Parade. I'm so excited about it. We can't wait to see all of you there. But right here on First Alert Weather Extra, we'll be right back with more.
All right, welcome back into Weather Extra. Across the country, we're tracking a front that's back to the west. You can see quite a bit of wet weather from Texas back across parts of Arkansas, but it's moving slowly to the east. We're seeing more of a south-north motion with this, and what's going to happen, the system's going to stall out for the rest of the week and the weekend, and then it starts to move our way around Monday of next week. But that's what we're tracking. The next big thing, you can see what's really going to set things into motion here. When we look at the upper-level wind pattern, we've had this ridge over the southeast. It's almost like a summertime ridge, allowing that heat to build in all the dry conditions, but it starts to flatten out as we start to see a big trough dive southward in the northern branch of the jet, and that's going to allow cold air to start spilling southward here over the next several days. You can see big time temperature departures for parts of the country here. Look at that. Some areas 35 to 40 degrees below normal, even for parts of Montana for this time of the year. That's the kind of cold that's on the way, and when you get that cold, dense air on the move, it's going to set this front into motion. And early next week, as it moves our way, there's a chance that we could see a couple of showers. This is from the American model. It's not overly impressive with the rain, and with us in a drought, it's going to take a significant rainmaker to break this pattern that we're in. But on the positive side, when you get into the month of November, the pattern can change in a hurry. I mean, typically by late November, December, we get into our fall severe weather season. So in the long range, I mean, we're going to get some wet weather sooner or later, but for right now, it's 20% chance of showers, it looks like, for Monday and also for Halloween. Hopefully the next couple days, we'll see this start to trend in a wetter direction, but right now we are looking at mainly dry conditions, but very warm for the weekend and for the games. The Magic City Classic 81 at kickoff. You can see also Mississippi State at Auburn, very warm kickoff. Weather's going to be perfect for the games, also perfect for a lot of those events happening this weekend. The 7-day forecast you can see for this weekend, again, warm, but we go to a high of 56 on Wednesday, and there's a chance next Wednesday morning we could see a little bit of frost, but we're especially concerned about some frosty weather into early Thursday morning, and that's because we should clear out as we go into the end of next week during the overnight hours. So the possibility of frost, be ready there for that chance. Already the plants are struggling with the lack of rainfall. Now we've got the cooler weather that's on the way, the below average temperatures. But we're less than 24 hours out from another night of high school football. This week we are checking in with Emily Verne from Oxford High School with your sideline game of the week forecast.
Good evening, Alabama. My name is Emily Byrne, reporting the weather forecast for tomorrow night from the OHS Jacket Media Studios on the beautiful campus of Oxford High School. It looks like tomorrow night will be partly cloudy with a kickoff temperature at 71 degrees and a slow, steady drop to 68 degrees by the end of the night. Winds will be moving to the southeast, starting with a light breeze, and will be a gentle breeze by the end of the game. Be sure to bring blankets, jackets, seats, and anything else you'll need to stay comfortable throughout the game. Be sure to come out and see the Oxford Yellow Jackets take on the Center Point Eagles tomorrow night at 7 o'clock at Lamar Field in Oxford. Here with the forecast of tonight's game is one of our beloved mascots, Sting. Sting, who do you think will win tomorrow night's game? That's all we have for tonight. Back to you.
Right. I know JJ's going to love that one, right? Thanks to Emily Verne for giving us a forecast and an exciting cameo from your mascot. And stay tuned for next week's Sideline Forecast. All right, so right now we're going to switch gears and talk about our long-range forecast. And one of the I really like this graphic, Lauren, because nobody's doing anything like this. This is the first time we've had our first alert weather calendar, so we can actually look beyond the 7-day forecast and just share with all of our friends here watching us right now of what we're kind of watching in the long-range forecast.
Yeah, Weston, honestly, rain chances still not looking overly impressive as we see that fall front headed our way. But one thing we do want to note is that possibly next Wednesday, Thursday time frame, we could be seeing the potential for some frost. But in the meantime, let's take you beyond the 7-day with a more in-depth look of what exactly we could be seeing in terms of that temperature outlook. So 6 to 10 days from now, a good portion of the U.S. is expected to experience below average temperatures. And you'll notice that does include us here in central Alabama. Now, will it stay that way forever? Is it just going to automatically turn into winter? No. no, we know that's not how it works around here in Alabama. So as we look at temperatures going into next week, I think by Halloween, that's when we'll really begin to see temperatures plummeting and possibly staying cool through at least the end of the work week. Notice though, as we get into the first full week of November, we may actually see a warm up in the forecast. So a bit of a temperature roller coaster. Still not looking too bad though. I think more so we would be talking 70s versus 80s for highs, but next week definitely going to be hashtag sweater weather. How about those temperatures in the morning though? That's when we could be seeing that potential for some frost by next Wednesday and Thursday. Now the thing is, next Wednesday it could still be a little breezy with that front passing through. So for frost to form, you kind of need clear skies and calmer winds, and so possibly Thursday would be that better day to see some frost formation before we see a warm up going into that first full week of November. And then how about rain chances? Because certainly need some with the drought in place and those severe drought conditions expanding. Well, gotta say 6 to 10 days from now, it still looks very dry across parts of northwest and central Alabama. So let's look at the forecast here as far as that future cast showing. Here we are next Friday, November 3rd, looking still fairly dry, but then possibly as we go into that first weekend of November, maybe a system could be bringing us a little bit of rain back to the forecast. So we're going to have to keep a close eye on that. But generally, you see as we go forward in time here, this is that first full week of November looking dry for us. I do want to say, Matt and I were talking about this earlier today. We've been seeing some hints of maybe an area of low pressure trying to develop in the Gulf of Mexico at some point over the next couple of weeks. So regardless of whether something develops, we have been seeing some hints of possibly some tropical moisture trying to move up into Florida. Could that eventually come our way? We don't know. Still too early to tell, but we'll be keeping you posted in the days ahead. And while it may be warmer than average here in our neck of the woods, it's a very different story up in Montana. The state got its first major snowstorm of the season on Wednesday. Up to a foot of snow has fallen across parts of the state. Precipitation began as rain in Washington and snow in the Cascades. Local meteorologists say the snow will last through tomorrow and also impact parts of Idaho, Wyoming, and North Dakota. So, I mean, that snow is looking really nice there. We are certainly going to be keeping an eye on any potential for at least a few drops of rain for us in the forecast. But right now, not looking too promising. Definitely not going to be seeing snow and definitely not going to be seeing much in the way of rain either. Well, we're anxiously awaiting next week's cold blast. Here's a look at tomorrow morning's low temperatures. Yeah, just keep that in there because, yeah.
How much time out are we? Okay, I can change it. Well, it's not loaded though, is it?
No.
Okay, yeah. There. Yeah, that's fine. All right, looks like we're going to be watching, hopefully get a little bit of rainfall in here Monday, Tuesday, possibly.
Yeah, cross your fingers.
And it's going to get cold.
Yeah.
Talking about frost on Thursday, the possibility of that happening?
Well, last year, by this point, we'd already had our first freeze. So we're running behind a little bit.
The temperatures are hanging on, the warm temperatures, a little longer than typical.
Well, everybody's been asking, are we going to have a rough winter? We didn't have much of a winter last year, so we can't help but have some cold weather at some point.
We had about 4 really, really cold pipe bursting days, and that was it.
Yeah. Yeah, that was it. And then we had severe weather into January and February. So, yeah, it was a very unique winter season last year. But we're going to be talking more about what's on the way, more on Monday's system, kickoff forecasts, all those event forecasts as well. That's all tonight, first at 9. So check in with us, and we'll see you